Weather Service has issued that tornado warning. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to zoom in and you can see that right there. This is going to be to the south of Globe that we're going to want to watch out for. And I'm going to circle the area of concern here where we could have that tornado form and certainly bring some impact. So if you live in between Blowing Rock down towards Patterson right along 321, that's going to be an area where I want you to go ahead and make sure that you are in the innermost part of your home, the lowermost part of your home, away from any of those windows because we could see a tornado develop out of this storm. Indications are there that we've got that rotation, and that would be moving off towards the Buffalo Cove area. So this is right to the north and east of Mortimer. Collettsville is just on the south edge of this tornado warning boundary as well. If you are listening in from Lenoir, you are just to the south and east of this boundary. You can see the polygon there right along 321. Lenoir is to the south and east of this, Piney, Oak Hill, Kings Creek to the south and east. But if you're listening in from Ferguson, I would go ahead and just stay tuned and make sure that you are paying attention, but also go ahead and seek shelter at this time just in case this continues to hold together as it moves off towards the north and east. So I know the severe thunderstorm warning that they had issued right before this tornado warning had movement tagged at about 30 miles per hour. I'm going to double check on this tornado warning here. This moves so it's a little bit slower at 25 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to update our ETA tracker so that I can walk you through some of the ETAs for some towns right up to the north and east of where this area of rotation is. And of course we also do have meteorologist Jason Myers in the Weather Center as well, watching things for us. So let's zoom out just a little bit, and we are going to track this through time. And I'm going to go ahead and just track it from the entire width of that polygon, pushing off towards the north and east. And I will extend our ETA tracker just a little bit beyond that tornado warning polygon to give an early heads up for those that may not even be in this warning, just a heads up on when you can expect some impact. So Warrior 7:49, the time right now is 7:44. You only have a few minutes to get in your safe shelter, so make sure you're there now. If you're out towards Patterson, 7:52, the Yadkin Valley area, you're going to be looking at 803, Buffalo Cove, 807, Elkville, 817, Ferguson, 822, and Maple Springs, you're looking at 831. So let me go ahead. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I want to give you guys the big picture here in terms of what we're seeing. And it does look like we have 2 tornado warnings now issued for our mountain communities. So not only do we have a flash flooding concern as we've had training storms over the mountains, but we have 2 tornado warnings in effect. Again, I'm meteorologist Rachel Coulter. We've got meteorologist Jason Myers here, the First Alert Weather Team, watching this for you. We've got the tornado warning for Burke and McDowell counties. That's going to go until 8:30. Population of about 1,500, just shy of that in terms of people that will be impacted by that warning, and an additional warning for Caldwell County, and that's going to go until 8:30. Of course, meteorologist Jason Myers is here. I'm going to toss things over to Jason. Have you heard anything else or seeing anything else?
Haven't heard anything else at the moment right now. Again, we have those 2 tornado warnings that we were just talking about. Again, and that does include portions of Caldwell County as well as for Burke County. As we widen out the view a little bit better here, a lot of these storms have been moving a little bit more out of the Asheville area. I'm going to go kind of backwards here, and you can see this is where we have our tornado warnings, just to go over what we're looking at right now. They are radar indicated. We're taking this seriously, though, as this is all going to continue to work its way a little bit more toward our mountain communities as we go over the next hour. Again, this tornado warning for Burke and McDowell until 8:30, as well as for Caldwell County. And as we work our way, we'll zoom a little bit closer here, and we'll kind of look for where we may have a little bit more rotation in the atmosphere. So where we have had some rotation there, I'll turn this on a little bit better, more for the Charlotte metro area. But where we have had more rotation, again, that has been right over the areas to the north of Morganton. That's where we've seen that a little bit better at times. Again, as this works its way a little bit more toward the Brown Mountain Beach area. And then as we work our way a little bit more toward Patterson, over toward Highway 321, this is another area where we have seen, again, a little bit more of that rotation at times. So as we kind of look at what's going on right over this same area, again, Highway 321, just north of Lenoir, these are the areas right now that have that better chance for seeing, again, that potential for some rotation with a brief spin-up tornado. In addition to that tornado threat, we have also seen quite a bit of very heavy rain, and so that's really been quite an issue here. I'll clear this off a little bit better. We've just had one round after another moving through, so flash flooding, a big concern. I just got an update from the Boone, kind of Banner Elk area, where they have a lot of ongoing flash flooding. So in addition to this threat for tornadoes, there is also that potential where we could see, again, some flash flooding. So any low-lying areas, area roadways, best to stay off the roads completely if you're going to be, again, or if you need to head out and about this evening, best to wait right now. Again, Highway 321. Right now, you've got some rainfall rates right over you, showing up over 3 inches per hour. So in addition to that possibility for a tornado, which would more than likely be rain wrapped where you wouldn't be able to see it. Earlier, we did see some of these rotations, and you could see some funnel clouds, areas around Greensboro earlier, even Anderson, South Carolina. Again, these showers and storms that are moving through, again, supercells, they do have some rotation to them, but this is more than likely going to be rain wrapped and really hard to see, so you won't be able to make it out. Again, the interior part of your house, lowest level, that's where you want to stay away from the windows and any flying debris that may be around. In an area here where you want to stay, again, stay weather aware as this will continue to work its way more toward Wilkes County, Ashe County. This is where you need to stay weather aware as well. A lot of lightning showing up here just to the east of Linville, just to the south here of Boone area. Again, as we work our way more toward the Blowing Rock area here, and this is also an area that could have some of that rotation working their way a little bit closer here into southern portions of Watauga County. But as you can see, if you're just joining us, a tornado warning continues for Burke, Caldwell County, and McDowell counties until 8:30 this evening. I'm going to step out of the way here just a little bit just to see if we've had any confirmations. We'll also have our microphone open with meteorologist Rachel Coulter monitoring this. And Rachel, have you seen any updates so far? Haven't seen any reports of any damage. Again, I did see some video earlier just of some ongoing flash flooding around the Boone area into Watauga County. But again, right now, I'm going to take off the radar so you can see things a little bit better. Boone is not included in that tornado warning right now. That tornado warning, again, right over northern Caldwell County. And that's now moving a little bit more toward the Yadkin Valley area, as well as for areas just a little further to the south of Patterson and Brown Mountain Beach over into northern portions of Burke County. So we're looking at Highway 181 right around Table Rock. This is another area here where you may see a better chance for that rotation right now. So any updates from you, Rachel, that you've seen so far?
So far, not seeing any updates in terms of reports, so that's the good news there. And of course, hopefully everyone is taking shelter, but if you do hear of any reports and can safely pass those along to us, feel free to do that, especially via social media. You can find us on Twitter. Any reports we can get from y'all will be very helpful, especially in that warning process for the National Weather Service. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning that it has been extended to include Boone and Harley, so just a heads up. Of course, not only are we tracking that potential for damaging wind gusts, we could see even half-dollar size hail with some of this, but the tornado threat is there. In fact, what I'm showing you here, there's your wind speed and your wind direction, and there's a reason there's 2 tornado warnings out there. I'll circle the 2 spots to watch. So if you are in Brown Mountain, if you are in Worry, just to your south and west, that's the one area of rotation that we're keeping a really close eye on, and that's out towards North Cove. And then I would avoid traveling on 321. If you live in between Lenoir and Boone, I would avoid getting on 321, no traveling. Make sure that you're at home and your lowermost part of your home, innermost part of your home, away from any windows, because that's going to be moving right over 321. And of course, we are now at 7:51. We're approaching 8 o'clock. So fortunately, this is beyond the evening commute time frame. But if anyone has those evening plans and you live in the mountains in the northwestern portions of the foothills, I would go ahead and just stay home at this time because we are watching those 2 areas. So what I'm going to do, these are moving at the same speed at about 25 miles per hour. I'm going to give you guys some more ETAs going forward in time. So if we zoom in closer here, there's our area of concern. Table Rock, you guys need to be in your safe place right now. If we do have a tornado, that's going to be to the north and east of 126. I'm going to name out some of these street level names as well, and then time this out through time to give that early heads up to those that'll be downstream of this. But no traveling on 126. You're going to want to avoid Fish Hatchery Road if that's a neighborhood or a road that you're going to be in. Moon Valley Court, the Table Rock community going to see impacts from this 181, runs right in front of where we have this potential tornado making progress to the north and east. If you live in Worry, that's going to be another area that you're going to want to avoid as well. So just to put some ETAs on this one here, we'll zoom this out a little bit and show you Table Rock. You've got 7:58, so you have just a few moments there before this reaches your area. Brown Mountain Beach looking just shy of 8:15. Collettsville 8:21, Olivet 8:29, Rufus 8:32, and Warrior 8:37. 7, and that's one of two. So if I zoom out a little bit, this is to the north and east of the Linville Falls area. If you're in Linville, if you're in Pinola, Linville Falls, North Cove, this is all to the south and east of you. These tornado warnings in effect now, also bringing impacts potentially right now, right along 321. Now we're pretty far up away from the radar site at this point, so we're looking up pretty high in these storms. But right around 321, that's the general location of where we could see a tornado. Again, this is radar indicated at this time. I'm not seeing any confirmation from the National Weather Service that we have an observed tornado on the ground with this tornado warning or the other one that we're tracking. However, with that being said, let's go ahead and map this out timing wise for y'all as well. And because this is a little broader, I'm going to, bear with me here, I'm going to pan this down just a little bit here, and I'm going to put a storm track that covers the entire width of that tornado warning polygon, moving that off towards the north and east. So there's some of those ETAs. Patterson 753, Yadkin Valley 804, Darby 809, Mount Zion 818, Patton's Ridge 827, Parsonsville 833, Wilbar about 843, and that's where we have those tornado warnings in place. So if you are just now tuning in, the time now is 7:53. I'm meteorologist Rachel Coulter here with meteorologist Jason Myers. We do have 2 tornado warnings in place for Burke, McDowell, Caldwell counties. These are going to go until 8:30 p.m. That potential tornadoes, just possible tornadoes at this time in these counties. There's 2 that we're watching moving to the north and east at 25 miles an hour. Boone, you are not in a tornado warning, but you do have a severe thunderstorm warning in place and could still see some strong winds. We're seeing that flash flooding threat as well. And if I zoom us out a little bit more, I just want to give you guys that big picture, because if you're listening in from Charlotte, we don't have any tornado warnings in our area. The Piedmont region is tornado warning free. We do have some spotty showers moving through, but that threat right now for damaging wind gusts, for even some large hail, flash flooding, and of course the tornado concern at this time is going to be over the mountains, especially to the south and east of Linville and Boone, and in the northwestern portions of our foothill communities. Jason, I'm looking at the National Weather Service chat here, and I'm not seeing any further updates, but I'm going to continue to look for some reports and toss things over to you.
Yeah, exactly right. We're not seeing any updates from the National Weather Service as far as ground truth. As we were talking about earlier, this would more than likely be rain wraps, so you wouldn't even be able to see it. I have had reports, though, of flash flooding happening around the Boone area, and that will remain a concern, maybe even after these tornado warnings expire. Again, these will continue here for portions of McDowell, Burke, as well as portions of Caldwell County as we go through 8:30 this evening, as this is all working its way a little bit more toward the northeast. And we've got a live look at, from the Blowing Rock area. We'll pull that up and show you just a second here, just the heavy rain that's moving through that area. I saw some rainfall rates at least showing up on radar. Rainfall estimates showing up about 4.5 inches per hour. You can see it's a heavy rain right now. Doesn't look to, or don't see, at least from this view, any flash flooding, but did see and get some reports of some flash flooding being reported around the Boone area from the very heavy rain that is moving through. Again, the Boone area, you've got the heavy rain over you, but it's really northern portions of Caldwell County, Highway 321, traveling more toward the Boone area, more toward Blowing Rock, where you'll continue to see that possibility, at least for having, again, not only some flash flooding, but also that potential for rotation. And as far as the rotation that we've seen, you have to look pretty closely here. Again, some of these have had some rotation. We're seeing some lightning right around Patterson, right around Buffalo Cove here, right along portions of Highway 321. So once you leave Lenore headed up toward Patterson over toward Blowing Rock, that's where you see the worst of this activity. Again, best not to do any traveling here between Patterson and Blowing Rock with that tornado warning and that potential for flash flooding. We're looking for some rotation here, and again around Table Rock as we work our way a little bit more. Again, this is just to the northwest of Morganton, and this is where we're seeing again some rotation right now, and where we've had that tornado warning for portions of northern Burke County. And you can see that heavy rain. We're seeing some rainfall rates there along portions of Highway 181 up toward the Linville Gorge area, showing up about 3 to 4 inches per hour. So pretty amazing to see there. And again, some of that rotation now kind of broad, but over toward Richland, Buffalo Cove here. And again, this is Highway 321, so a little bit more just to the north of Highway 321. We're seeing a little bit more of that rotation. So we're going to see just one round after another over the same areas that have already experienced the heavy rain. Again, this tornado warning until 8:30, but look at these rainfall rates showing up about 4.5 inches per hour And again, flash flooding, just a huge concern there, as that could really cause more of a broad issue for parts of this viewing area. I think if you have a tornado, it will be brief. It'll be a quick spin-up tornado. It could cause some damage, but the flash flooding could be a little bit more of a widespread issue across some of our mountain communities, again, as we go throughout the rest of our evening hours. So as we widen out the view here, again, we've got what's called training. You've got one round after another, very heavy rain over the same area. Notice it is much quieter for the Charlotte metro area, an area that earlier we were thinking we could have a little bit more severe weather. The ingredients have been there, and we're still keeping a close watch on the Charlotte metro area. But the good news is for the Charlotte metro area and the Piedmont, it really has diminished quite a bit here. And as we go throughout the rest of your evening hours, we're going to see that activity begin to decrease overall, at least in the intensity of the rain, as we approach about 11 o'clock tonight. But we've got to get quite a few more hours here of the heavy rain and that potential, again, for seeing some isolated tornadoes. Again, now a bigger issue for our mountain communities. And yes, you know, even in the mountains here, again, areas right around Richland, you can have what kind of that orographic lifting. This is kind of going right here a little bit more to the east of the highest elevation over toward the Grandfather Mountain area, again, Linville Gorge area. This is where we're seeing, again, some broad rotation over toward Richland and Mount Zion. I'm going to step out of the way here for just a second, see if there's any other updates. Again, some of the areas that we're looking at, again, where you're seeing the heaviest rain right over Grandfather Mountain. This is also along Highway 221 and around the Blowing Rock area, Julian Price Memorial Park, Moses Cone Memorial Park. These are some other areas where this will be impacting, again, Appalachian State University, the Boone area. We're going to see this continue to have the very heavy rain ongoing. Again, that tornado warning, if you're just joining us, again, for Caldwell County until 8:30, as well as for portions of Burke County until 8:30. That also includes McDowell County. And this is all moving to the northeast around 30 miles per hour, so on average. So let's clear this off so you can see things a little bit better. We're going to widen out the view just a little bit more. And I do want to put a storm track on this for you where we have had the tornado and where it will continue to move through. We're going to put this at 35 miles per hour, which is kind of that leading edge. And this is going to work its way off to the northeast over toward areas like Whitehead around 8:42, Sparta as we approach about 8:45. So that's just some of the arrival times for these storms moving through Woodlawn as we approach 9:30. So Ashe County, get ready for this. Again, portions of Boone, portions of the Watauga County area, you'll continue to have this heavy rain move through. But as we work our way over the next hour or so here, we could see that tornadic activity moving a little bit more toward Ashe County, a little bit more toward the West Jefferson area before this begins to move a little further outside of our local viewing area. Again, it's moving to the northeast around 35 miles per hour. Heavy rain will continue, though, as we have a lot more of that heavy rain, especially for areas a little further off to our south and also to our southwest. And you can see we still have some severe thunderstorm warnings here to the south of Asheville. So this will continue to be just one line after another, moving right over our mountain communities as we go over that looks like the next 2 hours. That looks to be kind of the time frame that we're looking at. Again, haven't seen any reports. I'll let meteorologist Rachel Coulter, as far as if you've seen any updates. I have not seen any more updates from this. And as far as the rotation, have you seen anything showing up on rotation? I know in Table Rock, we're still seeing a little bit more of that rotation right now, still ongoing, right over the 181 area. So we'll zoom in a little bit closer around Fish Hatchery Road in the Rose Creek Road area, Hollybrook Drive. So these are some of the roadways where we may see some of that rotation. But again, Rachel, feel free to speak up here too if you see anything. Sure. But Rose Creek Road here over toward, again, Hollybrook Drive, that's going to maybe the area right over 181 where we could have the best chance for seeing some rotation at this hour.
And you know, you were talking about it, how we just continue to see these storms work in out of the south and west, moving north and east over our mountain and foothill communities. And there is a storm to the south and west of the tornado warning that we have, that we've been watching with that tighter rotation that Jason was just mentioning out towards Marion. Looks a little suspicious as well. Looks like there may be some broad rotation with this as well. So just keep in mind that threat continues. We still do have the ingredients necessary for this. So even if you are done with that initial area of rotation, don't go go out of your safe places just yet. Just want to make sure that this cell that we're tracking here, and let me flip this over to radar and I'll show you what we're talking about. So there's Marion. That's to the north of I-40 and Old Fort. That's what we're going to be watching moving in almost in the same spot where we had that tornado warning issued originally. So let's zoom it back out. Of course, we've been covering the mountains and the foothills where we have 2 active tornado warnings in place. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings that do include the Boone area as well in Watauga County, and we do have some flooding advisories as well. So the mountain's certainly seeing the brunt of the activity right now, but I wanted to zoom us out to show you that big picture one more time, just in case you're just now tuning in. Of course, we're sending out these alerts on our First Alert weather app. You may be picking up some more information from social media as well, trying to tune in and get the latest and greatest. There are no warnings active for the Piedmont region at this time. This is focused over our mountain communities and our foothill communities. We do have these 2 tornado warnings in place at this time for Burke, McDowell, Caldwell counties. Just over 5,000 to 6,000 people included within these tornado warning polygons. That'll need to make sure that you're on the innermost part of your home, lowermost part of your home. Get away from any of those windows just in case we do have a tornado touchdown. Of course, these are radar indicated at this time. We do not have any confirmation that we've seen so far from reports from spotter confirmation or from the National Weather Service. However, we still need to make sure that we are in our safe place at this time. And it sounds like, Jason, you may have an update.
If you're just joining us, maybe if you tuned in, you're going to be watching Survivor. We do have a tornado warning, so that's why we're on this coverage right now. It's for our mountain communities, and this will continue until 8:30. So we're going to stay with this tornado warning right now. Also, flash flooding, a big issue for our mountain communities, but that tornado warning continues for Burke, Caldwell, as well as McDowell counties until 8:30. We're going to go kind of backwards here and look at a little bit more of where we've had some rotation. But again, if you're just joining us, we do have a tornado warning for parts of our viewing area. Thankfully, the Charlotte metro area and the Piedmont, you're quiet right now, but for our mountain communities, this is a serious event. Because of the rotation that we have, we could have a brief spin-up tornado, but really flash flooding, that could be a little bit more widespread. That's a big issue for the mountains and the mountain communities. But again, a tornado warning is what we're focusing on for Burke, McDowell, and Caldwell County until 8:30. As this is all working to the northeast, it's moving about 35 miles per hour. Again, a brief spin-up tornado is possible. Damaging winds are possible as well. Again, to time it out for you and to show you who has the best threat for seeing, again, some possible tornadic activity right over Brown Mountain Beach. This is lifted up a little bit more toward Buffalo Cove and Patterson. We were talking about the area here around Patterson and Highway 321. We still are seeing some rotation here right around Brown Mountain Beach here, kind of on the very edge of that tornado warning. So that could get extended a little bit further up to the north as we work our way a little bit more toward Buffalo Cove here. So as we look at the wider picture, here's Blowing Rock. And again, Buffalo Cove is where we have some rotation around that, as well as around the Richland area. And again, not only do we have the tornado warning, but even a severe thunderstorm warning as well, where you could have damaging wind gusts, kind of straight line winds, in addition to that potential for seeing some flash flooding. So here's Boone, and really Appalachian State kind of missing out on the worst of this. The worst of it just a little further east of Boone, just down Highway 321, really north of Lenoir. Between Lenoir and Boone here is where we're seeing some of the worst of the activity and that potential again for flash flooding and tornadoes. Linville Gorge area, a little bit more to the east of Linville, so Linville kind of missing out, but West Jefferson and up into Ashe County, even portions of western Wilkes County will continue to have this potential for some flash flooding and possibly a brief spin-up tornado as we have had that rotation. So again, this will be ongoing as we go for the next 30 minutes. So if you're just joining us with regular programming, we'll try to get you back to that here as soon as possible, but we want to keep all of our viewers safe right now with this severe weather that we've been anticipating throughout today. Again, the mountains right now, as we look a little further to our south, this is what we still have to deal with. There's severe thunderstorm warnings right around the Asheville metro area. These will continue to lift off to the northeast. So I want to put a storm track on this. So I'm going to step out of the way just for a second here and put it on a storm track where we could continue to see some of these severe thunderstorm warnings. This will continue to move over areas like Boone between now and about 10 o'clock tonight. Just got a new update. Looks like we've got a new tornado warning, and where, again, they may have just extended that tornado warning for Burke and Caldwell until 8:45. So we'll go back to that here. And yes, they're just kind of filling in the gaps somewhat. Again, so they just extended that tornado warning until 8:45, and that's for Burke and Caldwell County, and that's what's moving a little bit more out of Burke County, more into Caldwell County right now. Caldwell County, we have had that tornado warning from earlier, but now we've got kind of that rotation right behind that first round of rotation, as well as a severe thunderstorm warning that does include portions of Watauga and Avery County, and that will continue to lift up again into western portions of Wilkes County and into southern and southeastern portions of Ashe County over the next hour. So again, our mountain communities are really seeing the worst of this right now. Again, as we work a little bit closer, Brown Mountain Beach, an area we're just looking at with some rotation here, and this is where they've issued that tornado warning, the new tornado warning that was just issued until 8:45. So again, Brown Mountain Beach, all of it, these are the areas if you live in these communities to seek shelter in that interior part of your house at the lowest level. Again, this is moving just to the east here of Highway 181. So if you're traveling on Highway 181, kind of leaving north of the Morganton area, headed up more into Watauga County, this activity, at least the worst of it, with rotation beginning to move maybe just a little further to the east of Highway 181. All of it, this will continue to lift up more towards your area. So all of the area, this is where I have to keep a very close watch. And this is what we're looking at right here. Along with it, very heavy rain. Again, this would be rain wrap, so you would not be able to see this if you were looking outside. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like that just got issued as well. And any updates on that, Rachel, on that severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued here? I'll step out of the way too. We'll take a look at that as well. And that, again, that severe thunderstorm warning looks like just getting ready to come out. The quick update to kind of go over the logistics of what we have with everything going on. Again, we do have a tornado warning right now that's continuing for portions of Burke and Caldwell until 8:45. So we'll kind of go back to this view here where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. That continues until 8:30, and that includes quite a few more counties. So Avery, Burke, Caldwell, they're saying that threat for a tornado possible, as this is all, again, showing some rotation here as this lifts off to the northeast around 35 miles per hour. So I think we've got some velocity there, Rachel. What are you pinpointing at right now? What are you looking at closely? I can see that you've got kind of pinpointing that area.
Absolutely. So, we've been watching that area of rotation. That's been really the most impressive. That continues to move towards the Brown Mountain Beach area. You were just talking about that, Jason. But I've got Jamie Bowl in here in the Weather Center with me, and he had just sent along an update from the city of Morganton, North Carolina. And this was as of 8 o'clock. So, of course, this was about 10 minutes ago. It looks like there is an outage due to a tree on a power line on Kirksey Drive. Crews are working as quickly and safely as possible to remove the tree. Once it's removed, power will be restored. And Jamie, you had mentioned about 1,000 people without power.
Yeah, about 1,000 people there. We're also seeing some power outages. Looks like closer to Hickory and Catawba County as well, maybe 1,400 or so. Those are Duke Energy customers in that area. So an indication of the strong winds that are moving through some of these areas, perhaps bringing down some trees and causing some of these power outages. And something I think really important to remember, right, Rachel, it is getting dark. If tree limbs and things are coming down on roadways, even as you travel maybe tomorrow morning, these are things to think about because you could see some obstacles in your way.
Absolutely. You're going to have to allow time for responders to get out there, check on things, make sure everything is cleaned up. That's a really good point, Jamie. And again, I hate that we're cutting into Survivor. I know that's on right now at 8 o'clock, but because we do have active tornado warnings in effect for our communities here in the area, especially our mountain and foothill communities, and we're seeing some reports of potential damage, which I'll be passing along to the National Weather Service here as well to help them with that warning process as well. We want to make sure that we're delivering this information to you. So if you are within this tornado warned polygon, that's going to be for Burke and Caldwell counties until 8:45. Let me look at the clock here, 8:10. So we still have 35 minutes left with this tornado warning, potentially already seeing damage from this system already. So we have a live look for you. I want to show you what it looks like looking out towards West Jefferson right now. And Jamie mentioned it. Now we are losing sunlight. So it's going to be really difficult. And Jason had said this prior as well. We've got a lot of rain with this. Of course, we've got the flooding aspect on top of the potential for tornadoes, damaging wind gusts, and also that hail threat as well. So it's going to be very difficult to see these things. We, of course, don't advise that as well. After the threat has moved east, if you do have any damage reports, that's when you could definitely pass those along to us. But other than that, that's the view right now. You can see the wet roadways. There's still some cars out there as you look out towards West Jefferson. Almost hard to look from that vantage point due to all the rain that's in the area. And I'll take you back to radar here and show you where we have those warnings in place. Again, again, we are almost completely dry from Charlotte through Statesville out towards Hickory. So if you're traveling along 77, 85, I-40 around the Piedmont, you're fine right now. But if you're typically making your way out towards really in between Hickory and Linville to the north of Morganton, that's where the concern lies at this time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer here, especially to the tornado warned cell. Of course, we have the severe thunderstorm warning that does include Boone as well, but this is the cell of concern, and you can see the really heavy rain. I'll zoom in a little bit closer. Collettsville, Olivet, Warrior, these are areas that need to be in cover. I know Warrior, you're just outside of that tornado warning polygon. However, this is just off to your south and west, and if we've had already a history of producing some of that damage, we've got those power outages in place. Now, whether that was due to a tornado or just some strong winds, we're not too sure on that. We're going to have to get confirmation on that, but we definitely want to make sure we're in our safe place. And I told y'all before when we had first cut in that right along 321 in between Lenore and Blowing Rock we'd want to avoid, and that was due to the first tornado warning. Now we've got yet another cell that's moving really along the same way. So Patterson around 321, I would avoid traveling there, especially now that it's nighttime. You're not going to be able to see those threats as they develop pretty quickly here as we continue to see this. So this is going to be, let me zoom in a little bit closer. I'll take you street level and show you the road of most concern at this time. That would be 90 as you travel out towards the north and east. So what I'm going to do here is put the velocity on. See if we can get a good look at this here. Where we would have a concern would be in between Piney and Olivet as it moves off towards the north and east, eventually making it towards the Patterson area. And I'm going to put an ETA tracker on this. Now, I know one of these warnings did end up showing that the storm was moving not at 25 miles per hour anymore, but more so at 30 miles per hour to the north and east. Let's see if that latest update has that updated as time and speed of the storm. So 30 miles per hour. So that's good. What we'll do is update our ETA tracker here to 30 miles per hour because that's how fast this system is moving, and that way I can give some lead times in terms of when your town, if you're in this area, could see some of these impacts. And as I had done before, we're going to go ahead and stretch this a little bit farther than where we have that tornado warning polygon, just in case this storm continues to show signs of rotation and a tornado still is possible and they end up having to reissue a tornado warning down the road. So all of that, you're looking at 820 Patterson, 829 Yadkin Valley, 837, Grandin by 845, Ferguson 853, and Boomer just after 9 o'clock. Go ahead and just pretend that says 9 o'clock just to give yourself some of that extra time to make sure that you're in your safe place. So these continue to be the areas of concern. We do have the severe thunderstorm warnings as well. So in terms of rotation, this is much broader than what we had originally when that tornado warning was initially issued. And so that's likely why the National Weather Service went ahead with that severe thunderstorm warning issuance instead of a tornado warning because of that. So you'll still have the potential not only for strong winds, but you know, these threats can develop pretty quickly. We can see a tornado spin up pretty quickly. So even if you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, maybe not necessarily under a tornado warning, I would still just go ahead and make sure that you're in your safe place just in case the storm does end up producing some of those damaging wind gusts. McGrady, Trap Hill, Mulberry, Pattons Ridge, Darby, Boone, Blowing Rock, all those areas in the severe thunderstorm warning, I would make sure that you are in your safe place now. But of course, that's where we have our tornado warning, and that's going to be approaching just to the north and west of Lenore. Lenore, you are kind of halfway in between that tornado polygon. So if you're listening in from Lenore, I would go ahead and make sure you're in your safe place as well, because we could see the potential for a tornado. We don't have any confirmation right now, but there is that potential, especially as you travel along Rocky Road, Abington Road, up towards 90 and 321. Jason.
Yeah, and again, we haven't had any more confirmation from the National Weather Service so far as seeing any damage reports. More than likely, we probably won't. Again, with it being nighttime now, hard to see, and as far as the heavy rain, this will not be something that you can see visually. So again, this is a big concern, not only that potential for tornadoes, but just the flash flooding because of the heavy rain. And you just see this line of showers. It's going over the same areas. So unfortunately for Ashe, Watauga, Avery County, and our local viewing area, we still have all this rain to deal with. It's to our southwest, so this will continue to move over. So if you live in a low-lying area near creeks, streams, rivers, this is where you need to seek also maybe shelter in higher ground, higher elevation, getting away from those creeks and streams and rivers. If you're in a flood-prone area, this could be a real issue. And so the problem is not only is it unsafe to drive out there because of the high water, but if you live near a creek or a stream, that could be a real danger as well. Again, Charlotte metro area, we are quiet right now, even though we've had that potential foreseen. The ingredients have been there for severe storms. Really, the severe severe threat has been confined more toward the mountains, with this tornado warning still ongoing for Burke and Caldwell County until 8:45. So we're going to stay with this tornado warning because we want to keep all of our viewers safe. Severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30 for Watauga, Wilkes County. It does show again that potential for some rotation where a tornado could form. So right now over toward Mountain Beach, Patterson, as we were seeing earlier with what Rachel was showing you, there is some significant rotation still showing up there between Brown Mountain Beach and Patterson at this hour. Still even seeing some lightning at times as well. This is lifting up toward Patterson, Buffalo Cove. Here's Blowing Rock here. This is south of the Boone area, a little bit more to the north of Lenoir. Lenoir, this is right on the very edge here of Lenoir, but still again seeing some rotation there right around Brown Mountain Beach and between Brown Mountain Beach and even the Lenoir area. So if you live on the west side of Lenoir here, plan to again just be in that safe zone right around portions of Playmore Beach or over toward portions of Brown Mountain Beach Road. These are some of the roadways there. Table Rock Mountain Road has been kind of moving over your area from earlier. Patterson, Richland area, over toward Rufus, Yadkin Valley, Buffalo Cove. We all have the heavy rain and that potential for some rotation over you as well. Some broad rotation showed up here around Mount Zion, over toward Harley and Darby, getting ready to move over 421. So this is 421, traveling from Wilkesboro over toward Boone. I'll step by the way so you can see even better. Again, Boone here on the very edge of our screen. Boone's kind of missing out on the worst with the severe weather, but the flash flooding threat, a huge issue right now for Watauga County, where you've had some of that heavy rain. And just putting on a storm track with more storms that have been developing south of Asheville. This is going to continue to lift up more toward Linville around 9:40, Boone around 10:03, Wilkesboro about 10:30, Sussex as we approach 10:45. Between now and 11 o'clock tonight, you can still have this ongoing shower activity. There's been a lot of moisture moving in the atmosphere, and again, that unstable atmosphere, we've had that. Temperatures are really cooled back into the 50s here. So the threat for severe weather in the form of tornadoes may begin to lessen here in about the next hour. But as we continue over the next few hours, the flash flooding, that's what's going to be the biggest issue. And again, that's a huge issue for our mountain communities. As we widen out the view once again, the Charlotte metro area, we're not seeing as much activity across the Piedmont. It has become much quieter. I do want to show you a Futurecast view here real quick from 9 o'clock. You can see the activity still ongoing here as we go through 9 o'clock this evening up to about 11 o'clock. It does begin to diminish in activity once we get past 11 o'clock. And as we go into the earlier morning hours of Thursday, we've got a cold front will be moving through tonight, and that chance for rain will transition a little bit more east of the Charlotte metro area. And notice again, temperatures are really cooled back into the upper 50s for Boone, still at 70 degrees for Lenoir, where we've had temperatures upper 60s to lower 70s across portions of the Piedmont. So ongoing threat for flash flooding, the possibility for damaging winds, and with that rotation that we've seen, that's why we've had that tornado warning that was issued again until 8:45 and still ongoing for Burke and Caldwell County again until 8:45. So we'll still see this maybe continuing here for about the next 20-25 minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30. That includes Watauga and Wilkes County. Again, that's where we've had that potential even for some rotation across parts of eastern Watauga County. As we work away right over Brown Mountain Beach, a little bit closer there over toward Patterson, an area that we're still keeping a close watch on between Lenoir and Blowing Rock, where you could see, again, traveling Highway 321, very dangerous driving conditions, not only with that potential for a tornado where we're seeing some of that broad rotation, but also where we've had the very heavy rain. We've had some rainfall rates showing up at times about 3 inches or more per hour. Again, Patterson here, as we work away more from 321 up toward Richland, you've got the heavy rain in the form of some rainfall rates showing up over 3 inches per hour. Yadkin Valley, Buffalo Cove, Grandin, this is where we've also had the very heavy rain moving closer to you. Still looking at some, again, broad rotation here along Highway 421 around Harley area, Millers Creek, a little bit more just to the west of Wilkesboro area, further to the east of Boone and Blowing Rock. Again, some of that broad rotation around Patton's Ridge area. That will continue to work its way across maybe far eastern parts of Ashe County and maybe a little bit more up towards Sparta as we continue. Again, what we're watching there is just that one round after another. Haven't seen any new updates from the National Weather Service so far. Rachel, anything new that you have to report or anything that you've seen so far?
Yes, I'm checking in with the Storm Prediction Center, and of course, we do have this area to watch. So there's a 40% chance that we do end up getting a watch issued in this area that's highlighted. That includes Statesville to the north and west of Mecklenburg County. So Charlotte's not included in that. As far south as Greenville, and then just to the east of Boone and Asheville, where we're seeing all of that severe weather now. In fact, I'll show you radar, and that kind of mirrors where we're having that potential for all threats here within the next couple of hours. So that's the area where we're going to have the greatest threat for severe weather. Now, talking more about some reports and power outages, and we've got Jamie Bowl in here, and he had an update in terms of where we're seeing some of those power outages so far this evening.
Yeah, we saw some earlier in Burke County, in the Morganton area. The city there had tweeted out that they had some trees down. About 1,000 people were without power. This is an update you see here from the website of Duke Energy, focusing on Catawba County. That tweet there said about 1,400 without power. It has now been up to about 2,400. Some of those right in Hickory proper. Some of them, though, are south of there in Catawba County as well. So certainly some strong winds are moving through this viewing area right now. And we got to be mindful of this throughout the evening. So again, keep everything charged up and ready to go. Keep your First Alert weather app handy. In case you do lose the power, you can still stay in touch with us and stay on top of the weather situation that our team of meteorologists is doing a fantastic job. We got covering here for you with Rachel Coulter and Jason Myers. Hopefully we can wind this down here over the next hour or two, but we're not quite out of the woods yet, are we, Rachel?
Yeah, that's right. We still do have that active tornado warning, and that's going to go until 8:45. And this is just to the north of Morganton, but Lenore, you were right on the edge of that tornado warning polygon. So let's go back to velocity. I just want to see if we still do have any strong signs of rotation. Again, this is all radar indicated rotation. We have not seen any spotter confirmation of a tornado, certainly not seeing that confirmed by radar either, but it does look like that would be, if we do have a tornado, or if this storm would be able to produce a tornado, it actually looks like that would be right along 321 in between Patterson and Lenore. It looks like that may be right outside of that tornado warning polygon, so we'll have to see if they end up issuing downstream a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning based off of what we have. And then of course we've got the flash flood warning to the south and west. We're just going to want to watch out for damaging wind gusts, the potential for tornadoes, and also that flash flooding threat for our mountain and northwestern foothill counties. The time now is 8:23. We'll zoom it back out. I hate that we're having to cut in, as I mentioned before, and as Jason had mentioned before, to Survivor. I know that's going on right now, but we do have active tornado warnings in effect for our area, and we want to make sure that we're effectively communicating those threats to you guys and making sure that our neighbors in these communities are able to take a shelter and be safe. So if you're in Lenore, you're going to want to do that for sure. We'll zoom in and look at where we're seeing the heaviest of rainfall. So if you live in between Patterson and Lenore, Warrior, so that's one of the areas that we're going to see these concerns really traveling down 321 all the way down towards Lenore. That's where we're going to see the heaviest of rain. It's going to be low visibility, and of course that's where we could see the strongest of the winds, and also that potential for a tornado. So Deer Haven Lane, that's going to be an area of concern. You can see 268 there as you travel off towards the north and east. We've got Hollywood Ridge Road. I'm going to name out some of the roads in this area of concern just in case you live out there, have some friends or family out there. You can notify them to make sure to get in their shelter and avoid those outside walls and windows. Fox Rest Place, we also have that out towards Indian Hills Drive. Rich Holler Road, this is going to be up towards the Yadkin Valley as you travel up to 68. Zach's Farm Road, all the way up towards Grandin. These are going to be areas that you'll want to watch out for. Now, fortunately, we're not seeing any additional warnings issued by the National Weather Service. Let's see here. Jason, I'm going to toss things over to you. I know you've potentially been able to look at that chat in more detail here recently. Have you seen anything from them that would warrant a new warning being issued?
I haven't seen anything new. I saw that they canceled the tornado warning for Burke County. And again, the biggest issue right now continues to be maybe that flash flooding risk, because that will be ongoing for the next few hours. The threat at least may be diminishing here as we go over the next 30 minutes for rotation and with tornado warnings. But we still have this ongoing tornado warning for Caldwell County until 8:45. So this will be ongoing for about the next 20 minutes, as well as a severe thunderstorm warning for Watauga and Wilkes County, where you could have some broad rotation and a brief spin-up tornado would be possible. So as we work away a little bit closer here, again, Lindenville now kind of missing out on the worst of the activity. We were talking about Brown Mountain Beach earlier over toward Lenore and Patterson. And as you pointed out here earlier, Rachel, you get right over Lenore and Patterson. That's just where I was really seeing a lot better chance for some rotation here right along portions of Highway 321. And we're still seeing some of that. So this is kind of outside now of the tornado warned area, but over toward Gatkin Valley, there's some rotation there, as well as around Patterson. So again, we're zoomed in closer here to Caldwell County, kind of northern Caldwell County is what we're looking at. There's Lenoir, there's Olivet here, and you can see again portions of 321, Cedar Rock. You're not seeing as much with the rotation, but what we're looking at here is velocity. And so this is where we can pinpoint with radar, where we see radar indicated rotation. And at this point, we are seeing some rotation, and that even extends further to the north up into Wilkes County, Millers Creek area. There's some rotation there. That's just a little further to the east of Watauga County and areas like Boone. But Boone, Watauga County, severe thunderstorm warning still ongoing until 8:30. But at least that threat for the heaviest rain and the severe storm activity with gusty damaging winds, that's beginning to move a little further to your east. So not as big of an issue for Boone right at the moment, but you still have an aerial flood advisory until 10:30. So that just means that there still could be some high water, especially in low-lying areas along creeks, streams, and any roadways there could continue to have some high water even after the rain passes, and that could be a real issue there with some flooding continuing. Again, severe thunderstorm warning also continuing over portions here of Wilkes County, and we're seeing some rainfall rates showing up there, about 2.5 inches per hour. A wider view here, just line of showers, what we call training. So it's just like one round after another, like a train car. And you can see the heavier downpours that will continue to stay over some of the same areas. And that's where that flash flooding will continue here. Put this in motion, and you could see on this 1 hour time lapse, just all of this is moving to the northeast. It's moving about 30, 35 miles per hour. So it is transitioning as it moves to the northeast, kind of east-northeast. So it's working its way or edging its way a little bit more toward Wilkesboro. And one of the reasons why we saw it's been just kind of working its way a little closer toward Lenoir. So even areas further toward Hickory and over toward Catawba County, Morganton, we'll have to keep a close watch on this as well. We've had some of that heavier rain showing up at least just to the west of the Morganton area. South of Asheville here, we still have some ongoing thunderstorm activity as well. So looking at your Futurecast just one more time here as we go from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, you can see the activity still continues up to about 11 o'clock with more rain transitioning more for areas east of Charlotte as we go into early Thursday morning. Again, temperatures have cooled into the lower 50s with that rain moving through areas like Boone compared to upper 60s and lower 70s across the Piedmont. We still have some of those ingredients there where we could have some severe weather as we continue throughout the rest of our evening hours. Going to step on the screen here for just a second, just to go back to radar, see if we have any other updates here. And as far as the power outages, we have seen some power outages out around Ashe and even portions of Watauga County. Again, just looking at the wider view here, Rachel, you know, the real concern is just this line of showers that continues to move through, and it's going to be staying over those same areas. So I think flash flooding is the real threat that will continue here over the next few hours. And that tornadic threat, that's a threat right now. That will still be ongoing here for maybe about the next 30, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. And we'll have to continue to watch what's happening south of Asheville. But overall, again, I think the widespread issue could be some flash flooding.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just checking in as well. We do have a tornado watch that was just issued for the area, so hopefully it'll pop up on the screen here in just a few moments. But I will list off some of the areas that are included in this as I look at my screen and as our system has the time to really populate that map with that tornado watch. So a couple of tornadoes still possible, isolated hail up to quarter size possible, isolated wind gust up to 70 miles per hour possible. That's going to be for areas where we're seeing that line of storms and off towards the south and east. It's really mirroring where we have this area to watch here. That's where this tornado watch is in effect, and this is going to go for parts of North Carolina and Virginia all the way until midnight. So this is going to be until 12 a.m. where we have that potential in these areas. So you've got North Wilkesboro down towards Hickory, Lincolnton, Gastonia, Forest City. This is going to be for areas along I-77 up into Iredell County. That's where we could see that potential for not only damaging wind gusts, hail, we have that flash flooding threat as well, but we can also see that potential for tornadoes until we can get that cold front to clear the area. That's where we're expecting the greatest concern for severe weather at this time. So let's see if my map has populated that tornado watch so far. I'm not seeing it loading in there just yet, but just know that we have that in there. And of course, once this populates, I'll be able to show that to you guys. Of course, they've got tornado watches off to our north and east anyway. So there's that zoomed out view. The Charlotte area, we are not seeing any tornadic activity at this time. That's the good news there. We don't have severe weather in Statesville, down towards the Lincolnton area down into Gaston County right now. This is to the north and west, really in our southeastern mountain communities, northwestern foothill counties. So north and west of Wilkesboro, you do have that severe thunderstorm warning with the potential for a tornado, and then off to the south and west. I am noticing the time, it's 8:31, and I'm not seeing our tornado warning anymore. They may have gone and expired that early, especially since, as we were noting before, the area of concern where we would have had that best area of rotation did end up moving out of the tornado warning polygon that was issued by the National Weather Service. And it does look they went ahead and canceled that tornado warning. So Jason, I'll toss things over to you if there's anything else you want to add before we wrap things up. But just know as we continue through the evening, make sure you can stay weather aware in those areas. We still do have that tornado watch in place.
Exactly right. And yes, there is that potential for seeing some more storms that may be tornadic. So even though that tornado warning has expired, still, again, the big issue, flash flood warnings, and that's continuing for areas like Burke and Caldwell County until 11 o'clock tonight. So high water, that will be very dangerous for any traveling. Best to not do any traveling across our mountain communities, and hopefully you're already at a safe location at higher ground away from creeks and streams that could be rising here over the next few hours. Again, ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for Wilkes County. We'll keep a close watch on that just outside of our viewing area. It's still going to be around for the next few hours for our mountain communities. We'll be keeping a close watch on this. We'll get you right back to regular programming right now, and we'll keep you up to date here with the very latest on WBTV.